Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Chapter 22. Preliminary. How to meditate on Baba. No one has been able to fathom the nature or the form of Almighty. Even the Vedas and the thousand-tongued Shesha are not able to describe it fully. But the devotees cannot but know and look at the form of the Lord, for they know that at his feet are the only the means of their happiness. They know no other method of attaining the supreme goal of life except meditating on the holy feet. Hemadpant suggests an easy way of devotion and meditation as follows. As the dark night, as the dark fortnight of every month wears out gradually, the moonlight also wanes in the same degree, and on the new moon day we do not see the moon at all, nor do we get her light. Therefore, when the bright fortnight begins, people are very anxious to see the moon. On the first day, the moon is not seen. On the second day, also, she is not clearly visible. Then the people are asked to see the moon through an opening between the two branches of a tree, and when they begin to see through this aperture eagerly and after concentrating on the distant small crescent of the moon comes to their great delight within their ken. Following this clue, let us try to see Baba's light. Look at Baba's posture. How fine it is. He is sitting with his legs folded, the right leg held across the left knee. The fingers of his left hand are spread on the right foot. On the right toe are separated his two fingers, the index and middle ones. By this posture, Baba means to say, as if it were, if you want to see my light, be egoless and most humble, and meditate on my toe through the opening between the two branches, index and middle fingers, then you will be able to see my light. This is the easiest means of attaining devotion. Now, for a moment, let us turn to Baba's life. Shirdi had become a place of pilgrimage. On account of Baba's stay there, people from all quarters began to flock there, and both the rich and the poor began to be benefited in more ways than one, and in some form or another. Who can describe Baba's boundless love and his wonderful knowledge and his all pervasiveness? Blessed is he who could experience one or all of these. Sometimes Baba observed long silence, which was in a way his dissertation on Brahman. At other times, he was consciousness bliss incarnate, surrounded by his devotees. Sometimes he spoke in parables, and at other times indulged in wit and humor. At times he was quite unambitious, and at times he seemed enraged. Sometimes he gave his teachings in a nutshell, at other times he argued at length. Many a time he was very plain. In this way he gave varied instructions to many, according to their requirements. His life was therefore inscrutable, beyond the ken of our mind, beyond our intellect and speech. Our longing to see his face, to talk with him, and hear his leelas was never satisfied, till still we were overjoyed, overflowing with joy. We can count the showers of rain and circle the wind in a leather bag, but who can gauge or measure his leelas? Now we deal here with one aspect of them, that is, how he anticipated or forestalled the calamities of his devotees and warned them off in time. Balasahcb Mirikar. Balasahcb Mirikar was son of Sirdar Kaka Saheb Mirikar, was Mamlatdar of Kopargaon. He was going on tour to Chitali. On the way, he came to Shirdi to see Baba. When he went to the masjid and prostrated himself before Baba, the usual conversation regarding health and other matters commenced. When Baba sounded a note of warning as follows, "Do you know our Dwarka Mai?" As Bala Sahib did not understand, he kept quiet. Baba continued, "This is our Dwarka Mai, where you are sitting. She wards off all dangers and anxieties of the children who sit on her lap. This Masjid Mai, its presiding deity, is very merciful. She is the mother of the simple devotees, whom she will save in calamities. Once a person sits in her lap, all his troubles are over. He who rests in her shade gets bliss. Then Baba gave him Udi and placed his protecting hand on his head. When Balasaheb was about to depart, he again said, "Do you know the Lamba Baba, long gentleman, that is serpent?" Then, closing his left fist, he brought it on the right elbow, and moving his arm like the hood of a serpent, he said, He is so terrible, but what can he do to the children of Dwarka Mai? When the Dwarka Mai protects, what can the serpent do?" All who were present there were curious to know the meaning of all this and its reference to Mirikar, but none had the courage to ask Baba about this. Then Bala Sahib saluted Baba and left the masjid with Shama. Baba called Shama back and asked him to accompany Bala Sahib and enjoy the Titali trip. Shama came to Bala Sahib and told him that he would go with him according to Baba's wish. Bala Sahib replied that he need not come as it would be inconvenient. Shama returned to Baba and told him what Bala Sahib said to him. Baba said, "All right, do not go. We should mean well and do well. Whatever is destined to happen will happen." In the meanwhile, Bala Sahib thought over again and calling Shama asked him to accompany him. Then Shama went again to Baba and after taking his leave started with Bala Sahib in the Tanga. They reached Chatali at 9 p.m. and encamped in the Maruti Mandir. The office people had not come, so they sat quiet in the temple talking and chit-chatting. Bala Sahib was sitting on a mat reading a newspaper. His upperni, that is upper dhotar, was spread across his waist and on a part of it a snake was sitting unobserved. It began to move with a rustling sound, which was heard by the peon. He brought a lantern, saw the snake, and raised an alarm. "Serpent, serpent." Bala Sahib was frightened and began to shiver. Shama was also amazed. Then he and the others moved noiselessly and took sticks and clubs in their hands. The snake got down slowly from the waist and it moved away from Bala Sahib, and it was immediately done to death. Thus, this calamity, which was prophesied by Baba, was averted, and Bala Sahib's love for Baba was deeply confirmed. Bapusaheb Buti, a great astrologer named Nana Sahib Dengale, told one day Babusaheb Buti, who was then in Shirdi, "Today is an inauspicious day for you. There is danger to your life." This made Bapu Sahib restless. When they as usual came to the masjid, Baba said to Bapu Sahib, "What does this Nana say? He foretells death for you? Well, you need not be afraid. Tell him boldly. Let us see how death kills." Then later in the evening, Bapu Sahib went to his privy for easing himself, where he saw a snake. His servant saw it and lifted a stone to strike at it. Bapu Sahib asked him to get a big stick. But before the servant returned with the stick, the snake was seen moving away and soon disappeared. Bapu Sahib remembered with joy Baba's words of fearlessness. Amir Shakkar. Amir Shakkar was a native of village Korale in Kopargaon Taluk. He belonged to the butcher caste. He worked as a commission agent in Bandra and was well known there. He once suffered from rheumatism, which gave him much pain. He was then reminded of God, and so he left his business and went to Shirdi and prayed to Baba to relieve him from his malady. Baba then stationed him in the Chabdi. The Chabdi was then a damp, unhealthy place, unfit for such a patient. Any other place in the village or Korale itself would have been better for Amit, but Baba's word was the deciding factor and the chief medicine. Baba did not allow him to come to the masjid but fixed him in the Chavdi, where he got very great advantage. Baba passed via Chavdi every morning and evening, and every alternate day Baba went to the Chavdi in a procession and slept there. So Amir got Baba's contact very often, easily. Amir stayed there for full 9 months and then somehow or other he got a disgust for the place afterwards. So one night he stealthily left the place and came to Kopargaon and stayed in a dharmashala. There he saw an old dying fakir who asked him for water. Amir brought it and gave it to him. As soon as he drank it, he passed away. Then Amir was in a fix. He thought that if he went and informed the authorities, he would then be held responsible for the death, as he was the first and sole informant and knew something about it. He repented for his action, that is, leaving Shirdi without Baba's leave, and prayed to Baba. He then determined to return to Shirdi, and that same night he ran back, remembering and muttering Baba's name on the way, and reached Shirdi before daybreak and became free from anxiety. Then he lived in Chavdi in perfect accordance with Baba's wishes, and orders and got himself cured. One night it so happened that Baba cried at midnight, "Oh Abdul, some devilish creature is dashing against the side of my bed." Abdul came with a lantern, examined Baba's bed, but found nothing. Baba asked him to examine carefully all the place and began to strike ground with his satka. Seeing this Leela of Baba, Amir thought Baba might have suspected some serpent had come there. Amir could know, by close and long contact, the meaning of Baba's words and actions. Baba then saw Amir's cushion, something moving. He asked Abdul to bring the light, and when he brought it, he saw the coil of a serpent there, moving its head up and down. Thereupon the serpent was immediately beaten to death. Thus Baba gave timely warning and saved Amir. Hemadpant, Scorpion and Serpent. At Baba's recommendation, Kakasaheb Dikshit was daily reading the two works of Sri Eknath Maharaj, that is Bhagavad and Bhavartha Ramayana, and Hemadpant had the good fortune to be one of the audience when the reading of the works was going on. Once, when a portion from the Ramayana relating to Hanuman's testing Rama's greatness according to his mother's instructions was being read, all the listeners were spellbound. Hemadpant was one of them. A big scorpion, none knew where it came from, jumped and sat on the right shoulder of Hemadpant on his Uparni. First it was not noticed, but as the Lord protects those who are intent on hearing his stories, he casually cast a glance over his right shoulder and noticed it. It was dead silence, not a bit moved here or there. It seemed as if it also enjoyed the reading. Then, by the Lord's grace, Hemadpant, without disturbing the audience, took the two ends of his dhotar, folded them, and brought them together, enclosing the scorpion within. Then he went out and threw it in the garden. On another occasion, some persons were sitting in the upper floor of Kaka Sahib's Vada just before nightfall, when a serpent crept through a hole in the window frame and sat coiled up. A light was brought. Though it was first dazzled, yet it sat still and moved its head up and down. Then many persons rushed there with sticks and cudgels, but as it sat in an awkward place, no blow could be dealt. But hearing the noises of men, the serpent went out hastily through the same hole. Then all the persons there felt relieved. Baba's opinion. One devotee named Muktaram said that it is good that the poor creature escaped. Hemadpant challenged him, saying that serpents should better be killed. There was a hot discussion between them, the former contending that serpents and such creatures should not be killed, and the latter that they should be. As night came on, the discussion came to an end without any discussion being arrived at. Next day, the question was referred to Baba, who gave his settled opinion as follows: God lives in all beings and creatures, whether they be serpents or scorpions. He is the great wire puller of the world, and all beings, serpents, scorpions, etc., obey his command. Unless he wills it, nobody can do any harm to others. The world is all dependent on him, and no one is independent. So, we should take pity and love all creatures, leave off adventurous fights and killings, and be patient. The Lord is the protector of all. Bo to Shri Sai, peace be to all. Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. End of chapter 22.